spike strips, deflated all 4 of the tires.
Welcome to Viral Twist. A driver on 4 shredded tires crawling at 3 miles an hour, yet holding an entire city hostage in suspense. You won't believe how this chase ends.
Car in the center of your screen, that is the suspect's vehicle that they are, as you see, going about 3 to 5 miles per hour.
Yeah, I mean, you see the stretch of police vehicles behind it. So here's what we're getting, the latest info here. This was last on Texas Street going north in the North Park area. It started about 6:30, so just about 45 minutes ago this has been going on. And then University and Boundary and Mid-City, officers tried to stop this driver for a traffic violation, but the driver would not pull over. And as you see, 3 to 5 miles per hour. This has been going on for 45 minutes now. They did deploy spike strips, and they worked. So that deflated all 4 of the tires on that vehicle that officers are trying to stop.
A lot of you probably going, well, why don't they just pull in front of him when he's going this slow? Because the officers have protocols that they have to follow in these types of situations. It's department policy. They don't know what the suspect's intentions are. They don't know what could, if they're holding a possible weapon. Right. So they're being very careful, and it looks like the car is coming almost to a stop there. At some point, the tires are going to be so deflated on this vehicle, it's just not going to be able to roll. Let's
check in with Evan now. Can you tell us?
If you look closely, you can see the back right tire looks to have something dragging along with it. I'm assuming that could be from the spike strips.
That's the tire tread.
Exactly. So the tire is. So that could be the reason why they're at such a slow speed right now.
4 tires deflated, they said.
So if you're looking at 4 tires deflated, that back right tire just kind of dragging along right now. He wants to keep going clearly with this pursuit, but that car isn't going to let him go much faster than where he's at right now. And as you mentioned, through the North Park area, those residential streets.
Yeah, you can see all the homes that are in and around that area, and obviously you don't want to be near this, because there's no telling what the driver is doing or has in the vehicle, and that's why they have to be very careful and advise residents to stay away.
He's going so slow that officers are able to block options for him. You see that vehicle right there, the squad saying, nope, you can't come down this street. You got to keep going straight. So my guess is they're probably going to get ahead of this, what looks to be a BMW vehicle. You can see the driver with his hand out the window here doing some sort of signaling, maybe even look like he's saying he's slowing down.
Right.
But nonetheless, he's kind of running out of time here.
It looks like he's trying to communicate in some way with those officers. He's waving his hand out the window. Looks like he's kind of leaning his head out a little bit, talking out the window. Appears that he's the only one in the vehicle right now. And as Eric mentioned, going so slow right now and really just a straight shot that they've been able to block off those intersecting lanes as he approaches them.
Our view, obviously, on these screens are kind of small. Can you tell that it's a male driver?
It looks like it's a male driver, yeah. And it looks like his arm is out the window there. His head is nearly out the window. And he's talking, it appears like, but he's not exactly pushing his full head out the window. And you even see on the left-hand side there a biker coming through, passing this chase. Obviously really dangerous to have residents there on the streets, on the sidewalk, right around this slow speed chase.
Nothing is in his hand, in the hand that was out the window that we could see here. And again, this was a driver that was pulled over for a simple traffic violation. Typically when we see these high-speed chases, they're able to confirm that the suspect was wanted for a big crime or something. That's why they're willing to go on a chase, which can obviously enhance your time when you are eventually apprehended.
Yeah, if you're going through any of those intersecting lanes, that's where they're completely blocked off right now to through traffic. That biker almost went into that intersection there just to pass it. He's come to a stop there on his bike, watching this chase now come through that area. So, I mean, hey, if you're coming through that area, if you're a resident in that area, stay inside. Obviously, you don't want to walk outside and try to look around at what's going on.
Yeah, and just for people who are tuning in right now, to kind of help you with the location that this is all happening, we do know it started on Texas going north. So that's in the North Park area, Texas Street, pretty busy one. And then, they said the chase started around 6:30. And it was at University and Boundary in Mid-City. So that's where it began. So I apologize, I misspoke earlier. But it began at University and Boundary in Mid-City. And then it looks like now this is on Texas Street. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's our latest update from San Diego Police, who are the ones that are involved in this.
Going through a residential area here, and that's why these officers are taking extreme precautions. If you're just joining us right now, it looks like the vehicle came to a stop here, or is attempting to try and make a turn. It looks like the officers are going to get a little closer, and they are eventually going to get out and probably demand that driver get out of the vehicle with his hands up and get on the ground, like we've seen in so many of these high and now slow speed chases. This is the driver in some sort of looks to be a BMW SUV. He keeps moving his hand up and down, and the officers aren't quite going to have that discussion with him. So they're out of their vehicles. They're yelling something at him. They stopped their vehicles, and then he decided to play a little cat and mouse, get back in his car, and to continue driving. You can see on the back right tire, his tire which was blown out by spike strips. In this case, those worked. His tire is trailing behind him as he is leading police on a 3 to 5 mile an hour chase through this neighborhood. You're looking in people's backyards. They're obviously wondering what is going on when there's a trail of 10 squad cars behind this slow moving vehicle that are quote unquote pursuing this vehicle right now. At some point, this is going to come to an end. This is a guy that was pulled over for a traffic violation that is now extending this pursuit.
And you know, we see these high-speed chases all the time. I don't think I've seen one this slow, obviously, ever. And this one, I mean, with the tires being blown out like that, they're all deflated. This driver is not going to get very far, and you always know they usually end with the driver getting arrested. You know, hopefully this all ends peacefully, and that's, you thought as he stopped that he was going to get out and then continued on for some reason.
And he's still super casual, still has that left hand just hanging out the window there, waving it up and down. It looked like earlier when he came to that complete stop that he was trying to talk to the officers somehow. You see those officers trying to block him in, essentially.
There
here,
we go. Maybe
telling him to come to a stop.
Now the officers are saying stop. They've kind of made it difficult for him to kind of
He's trying
move
to go
around.
right through there.
They've kind of backed him in. Let's see if he complies with their demands or he continues to ram this SUV, which will obviously not be a good decision for him and could add to any potential charges here. Officers, I don't see any guns drawn at this point. I just see them out yelling commands at this slow-moving driver. Palm trees in the way right now. Hopefully he gets out of the car.